All right, here we go. Welcome to another Wild Women Wednesday. Tonight we're going to look at how you can create content that converts. So whether you're creating video content for a channel on Wild Network or anywhere else that you're doing content for, there's 5 steps to really make sure that the content you create is going to attract the right people, that it's going to actually get watched or consumed, and that it leads to something that converts into your business, into clients, into sales. We're also going to look at how to put together a 10-minute content marketing plan that you can use to power what you're doing in terms of building your business with content marketing. So, if you have ever struggled with the hello, my name is I have a problem of not knowing what to write or write for video or go live and share, feeling like you didn't have a plan, you don't want to write it, you don't want to do video, you don't feel like you're expert enough, you don't feel like you have time, that's a big one, or you feel like you're creating content that people just aren't noticing, they're not actually consuming it, or your content isn't converting into clients, or you're not having fun with it. Those are the challenges that we're going to address tonight and take you from the messy side of this into a plan that makes sense. So some of you already know me, some of you may not know who I am. Blogging and content marketing was one of the key things that got my business started. I once wrote 42 blog posts in one day. Now, you know, if I've done that, I've got some shortcuts when it comes to putting content together, and it's the same, whether it's written content or video content. There are ways to create it faster, to make it simpler, and to really give you options to be able to do content marketing without it taking over what feels like your entire day or your entire week in business. I've mentored a lot of people through blogging and content challenges related to generating traffic, published a lot of posts on my blog, a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, and I've got a lot of experience in this space. So just so you understand where this is coming from, this isn't PLR that I bought and that I'm teaching you. This isn't something that I read in a book. This is the strategy that I've actually used in my business for the last 2 decades to keep it growing, to get the right clients in, and honestly, to take sales out of the equation for me. I am a marketer. I want to put content out that brings people to me, that has them asking me, hey, how can I work with you? Where do I sign up? And not me trying to sell someone on the value of what I do or why they should work with me. And that's what I love about content marketing, is when you do it right, sales are easy. You don't have to sell somebody. They come to you already sold because they've seen the content. They know you can help them achieve the goal, and it's just a matter of what dotted line do they sign on. So what we're going to look at today is the 5 steps to creating a content plan that you'll be excited about that also converts. How to know what type of content to create on what topics so that you attract the right readers or the right viewers while you have some fun growing your business, an example of how to plan your content based around sales goals, and next steps for getting it out there after you create it so that it's really working for you. So the first place to start, and it amazes me how many times we don't start with this, is what's the goal for it? Never create content just to have content, right? You want to have a goal for it. You want to know, what are you trying to do? What does convert mean? What tells you that it's effective? And when you look at different reports and things and surveys, these are some of the things that might be part of your goal, right? So content marketing can really help you become an authority in your space. So you want to be known as the go-to person for something, content marketing will do it. Attracting new leads, growing your community, research, engagement with people, being able to find out, what do people actually want? What are they thinking? What are their challenges? What are their goals? You can do that with content marketing. Sharing solutions and benefits, overcoming objections. Again, one reason content marketing works is if you approach it strategically, you don't get objections on sales calls. You don't even have to do the sales calls because people already understand why and how you can help them. You can do it to paint a picture for people, to help them imagine what's possible when they work with you, when they enroll in your programs, when they buy your product, and of course, converting people to clients. Personally, I think number 7 should always be a goal for content marketing, and then attracting strategic partners or creating loyal fans are 2 more goals that you may have. You can see some things over on the left side there. brand awareness. Not a fan of doing content just for brand awareness. It needs to convert into more than that for you. Lead gen, absolutely. Engagement, sales, lead nurturing, customer retention and loyalty, customer evangelism. Are you giving your best customers and clients something that they can share? Give them great content and they will share it with people, and they know people who would be a great client for you. And then upsells and cross sells are another thing that happens when content marketing is done well. So starting with that, what's your goal? What do you really want to get out of the content that you're putting out there? The second thing is, who's your audience? Who are you creating your content for? That can be a question that can feel a little tough to answer because you don't know when you put it out there on the internet who's going to watch it. But if you know who you want to watch it, then you can figure out what type of content to create that will get their attention, where to put it that they will actually see it. So you really got to get clear. You know, if you're looking at, let's say, a productivity course, and you're teaching people better time management skills or better personal management skills, since we all have the same amount of time, what kind of content you create is going to be different based on, are you talking to somebody who's already successful, already has it together, and they're looking for those next level tips, those next level strategies that will help them be even more productive? Or are you talking to this guy in the middle who's got chaos happening, right? And he just needs the first steps of what to do. And then if it's something in chaos or someone in chaos, who are they? Are they male? Are they female? Are they working in corporate? Are they running their own business? You want to get really clear, because no matter what your offer is, there's a lot of different people that you could offer it to. But if you don't get clear on who that person is and really understand what specifically they're looking for, your content isn't going to convert because it's too general. So the more specific you can get with who you want to help and how you can help them, the easier it will be to create content that really attracts that level of person, that specific target audience in. So take some time and get clear on, for the offer you've got, who specifically are you looking for? And I don't care what kind of car they drive. I don't care where geographically they live if you are marketing online. What I do care about is, what does their typical day look like? What are the things that they're aware of that are problems? What are they frustrated by? What do they really want? So get clear not so much on the demographic profile, but on their psychographics, on what's inside their head, because that's the key to making your content marketing work. Your next step then is to figure out, what are their biggest questions, challenges, frustrations, problems, hopes, dreams? What are they trying to do? When you're clear on that, then you know where to go. And what's the disorder or disease? So what is, if you were to give it a name, the problem that your ideal potential clients have? And this can be a fun one to come up with, because you can make up a diagnosis for this. And where to start is, what are the symptoms? So if we go back to the productivity example, some symptoms of having this problem might be spending hours a week searching for things that are lost, missing appointments because they weren't on the calendar, or they forgot to check their calendar, or they didn't even realize they had scheduled an appointment, right? There's lots of different symptoms that you could point to that point to, you have problem X. And if you get clear on what that disorder or disease is, you can have some fun with that in your content marketing. Give it a name, give it a label, and then give it a list of symptoms, so that people can identify, oh, that's me, I have that thing, right? And it's not an official diagnosis that they're going to find in, a doctor's handbook. This is a label you put on it that gives them something to identify with, so that as you're putting your content together, you can keep in mind, all right, this content is for somebody with this particular problem. And when you can do that, then if you've created that label, you're the only one who has the solution to that label. You're the one who has the prescription of how to fix it. So if you want your content marketing to be effective, take some time and have some fun with that idea. What are the symptoms your people are experiencing? How is that showing up for them? Just like a doctor would. And then what's the diagnosis? What is the itis? Or, what is the disorder that is causing that? And then what's the solution that you offer to that, right? And you may have to transform a little bit. You might have to change some of your messaging around what you do to really speak to that problem, to speak to that challenge. But if you do that and you line it up where you can say, hey, if you are having problem A, problem B, problem C, if these things are happening during your day, what's really going on is this. And this is what I can help you solve because I have the solution. I have the prescription. I have the answer. That's what you focus your content marketing on. All right, so the next question is, what's your CTA? Any content that you put out needs to have a call to action. You always need to know what's the next step. Right? A lot of times people don't say yes because you didn't ask them a question. If at the end and the middle and the beginning sometimes of every piece of content that you put out, you're not saying, hey, by the way, here's the next thing to do, and inviting people to take a next step with you, they're not going to do it. They don't know a next step exists. So you've always got to know the next step, and you got to train people to take a next step. You have to make that invitation for them. There's a link somewhere near where you're watching this video to where you can download this list. These are just a few of the next steps that you can invite someone to. It does not always have to be buy my program, invest in my thing. What you want to do is train people to know that it is safe to take an action that you suggest. Sometimes the next step might be leave a comment, hit like and share this video. Just get them to engage with you in some way, because content marketing done well trains people to listen and take action. Not only will that make your content marketing more effective, right? We all know how the algorithms work. You got to get engagement for the sites to show your content to other people. And it doesn't matter what platform you're on, you need engagement and you need people sharing your content. But beyond that, you want to teach people that when you give them a suggestion, it's safe to take action and that they're likely to get results from that, because you're training people to be better clients. Right? Because if they come in already used to listening to you, already used to implementing things you suggest, they are so much easier to work with as clients. They will get so much better results from working with you. Right? You know how it is when you've got clients who invest in something and they don't do anything with it. It's frustrating, partially because they didn't get a result and you want them to get a result, but also because you know if they just did the work, they would be blown away by what they could make happen with your support. So if you want people to take action, train them to do that before they ever become a client. And when you train people to do that, then if they're used to clicking, if they're used to listening, if they're used to doing something, when you do put an offer out, they will click, they will check it out, they will invest in your offer because you've set that up, right? So here's just some of the things that you can use as calls to action. Always have a next step for someone to take when they consume any content from you. I won't go over all these because, again, you can click the link, download this list. Make sure you know before you create any content what the next step is for someone, because these are all conversions. All of these are ways to convert somebody from passive into active. And that's what you want. You don't want somebody just watching your video, just reading your content. You want them to become active, to take an action so they're started towards getting a result, right? And ideally, part of that path for them will be working with you along the way. Always know your next step and always make that invitation. Never let yourself off the hook, right? Step 5 is taking all this and putting it into a content plan. So how do you create content that people look at it and go, that's epic, that's amazing? It's not about the word count. It's not about the length of the video. It's about, is there an aha moment in it for people? Is there a takeaway that they can implement right now, that they can imagine, oh, that's going to work. That's going to make a difference for me. This is something I haven't tried yet, or I haven't done it that way, or I didn't understand. That's what the problem has really been. If you can help people have that aha moment, they will see your content as incredibly valuable. So I've got a template for you. You can see a little screenshot of it there. Let's see here. Let me flip to that tab. All right, so there'll be a link somewhere near this video to this spreadsheet here. And this is a 10-minute content marketing plan. All right, so a couple things you want to do, of course. First, you want to put your month in and put your days in here. And you can do this with any calendar. It's just the process. When I'm looking at content marketing for the month, where I start first is, are there holidays and are there family commitments? Are there things that I know certain days I'm not going to be going live on Facebook, or I'm not going to be sitting at my computer writing an email? I block those days off, and I block off the holidays first. If I need an email to go out or a video to be done, then I know I'm going to do that in advance, right? So that's the first thing, is block out your family time, block out your off work time. The second thing is note any promotions that you've got or anything scheduled. So if you've already got a webinar or a masterclass, or you know you're doing certain things in your business, put those in the calendar so that your content marketing supports it. If I know that 2 weeks from now I'm doing a webinar and I'm going to release a program on content marketing, all my content for the next 2 weeks should be focused on that. But if I don't have it planned out, it's not going to be. I'm going to be stressed out trying to figure out every day, what do I do to promote this, right? Line your content marketing up with the promotions that you have. If you're looking at your month and going, I don't know what I'm going to offer, then start there. What are the things that you want to offer this month? Do you have a VIP day? Do you have personal coaching or consulting or personal services you want to offer? Is there something you want to promote as an affiliate and get sales for? Start with what your offers are. Put those on your calendar. And if they're evergreen, all your content can be going towards them. If they're date-based, the content leading up to it should be focused on that, right? Once you have those goals in there, then you plan your content. Then you look at, okay, for somebody to say yes to a content marketing course, what do they need to know? What do they need to be aware of first? What do they need to know is true? So my content leading up to something like that would focus on, will content marketing work for you? What are some easy ways you can do content marketing and save time with it? I would be looking for things that are a series of tips, that are shortcuts people can take, that are things that overcome objections. Because when it comes to content marketing, for example, I know people's objections. Number one, they don't think they have time. It takes too much time. Number two is they don't feel like they're expert enough. So helping people shift that mindset through the content that I put out. And the third one is the tech side. They don't know how to put the technology in place to automate things, or how to actually hit publish on different things, or how to go live on something, right? So I look at what are the biggest objections, and then my content is based on addressing those. Because before somebody can say yes, they gotta feel like it's gonna work for them. They gotta understand why this would be a good investment for them, right? So once you know your offers, plan your content around that and plan it to answer those objections, all right? You can see this has some ideas for how you can divide up your week. When I put together a content plan, I have 1 day a week. Usually for me, it's Saturday or Sunday, where I'm actually doing the bulk of creating it. So I'm looking at, do I need notes for a Facebook Live? Let me put together some bullet points. Do I have emails that I want to go out? Let me get those written ahead of time. Am I writing a blog post? Am I doing a podcast? I plan it all 1 day, and then each day I have content going out on different channels. So I might do a Facebook Live on Monday. If I do, then maybe on Tuesday I email my list about that. I might take that same content and transcribe it and turn it into a blog post for Wednesday. Or I might just embed the video in a blog post and put some bullet point notes with it, and then email that blog post out on Thursday. And I might have a podcast on Friday, right? So don't feel like you have to do all these things every single day. Plan your days based on your working schedule. If you only work 3 days a week, then plan for those 3 days a week. But have a consistent plan of when you're going to show up where, and make sure you're repurposing your content. People consume content in different formats and on different places. When I put something out on Facebook Live and I put it up on YouTube, for example, and email my list about it, different people see that content both places, right? So don't be afraid to use your content in more than one place. I also have down here boxes for where I'm going to share things, so I can check that off. Like if I post something to my blog, I want to send a tweet about it. I want to tell people about it on LinkedIn, right? So I can track that. But these are kind of my boxes that I fill things in so that I can keep track of it. And you can use any calendar style that works for you, just use some sort of calendar. The second thing is there's a tab here with sales focused ideas. If it will open, there we go. These are questions I ask that help me come up with the content ideas, right? So if I'm offering something, do I have a case study I can talk about, whether it's my own story or a client story? Makes a great video, especially if you break down, here's why it worked. Here's some tips for you that worked for me or that worked for this client. If you've got a new product or service, you could do a reveal. Ask yourself, what are the frequently asked questions you get about it? Each of those questions can be a video or a content piece, or you might take the top 3 and answer them in one video. Should ask questions. What are the things you know people should be asking that they're not? Do some content around that. What do they need to believe or know is true about you, about your product or service, and about themselves? Some of the most powerful content you can create is actually the piece about your audience. Hey, I know you can succeed with this, and here's why. And if you failed before, here's why that may have happened, and here's why it would be different this time. If people know you believe in them, and you give them evidence that they can believe in themselves, they will be so much more likely to give it a shot and to try the thing that you're offering, right? What are the symptoms? We talked about that. What are the symptoms and what's the diagnosis? Make some content around that. What info better helps clients use the product or service? What's the step right before clients are ready for it? Talk about that. Hey, if you haven't done this yet, here's something you need to do to make your content marketing work. If you've already done this, you're ready to really get it working for you. Here's why. What's the problem that you're solving? What are some other ways to solve the problem? How do people know? Which way is better? Should somebody do content marketing or should they pay for advertising? Give people some tips on how to know what strategy is right for them, because we all know the strategies we teach are right for some people. They're right at certain times. They're right in certain circumstances. Be honest with people about that. Hey, if you're dealing with XYZ, this isn't a great solution for you. But if ABC is where you're at, this is your perfect next step. People appreciate that honesty, and they will be much more likely to be the right fit to come into your program when you give them those filters. Diagnosis of the challenge or solution, what they think the problem is versus what it really is. What else are they trying? What are the beliefs or misconceptions that people have? A lot of people think it takes hours a day to do content marketing. You can do it in 10 minutes if you know what you're doing and you have a solid plan. All right, so that's one misconception for that space. What's a misconception people have about what you do? Think about that and put some ideas together. If you just go down this list and make yourself some notes, you will have plenty of content for more than a month around whatever that offer is. We've also got a 10-minute planner here where you can go in and put some information in here. What's the date you want to publish it? What's the headline or the concept? And then what's the format for it? There are lots of different content formats, and if you go through and just look at this list, it's going to give you ideas of what kind of content to create. So you can go through here and look at these and match them up. You can figure out where you're going to share the content, what category it fits into for you, and what is your next step. All right, what are the things that you are using as your CTA? So this is a quick way. I have a very excited German Shepherd. Apparently she wants to plan some content with us. A very easy way to put those ideas together and to know what the format is for it. All right, that's it. Those are your 5 steps. Content marketing really can be as simple as that. So make sure you download that CTA list. Make sure that you get access to this 10-minute content planner. The links are going to be right by this video. By the way, that is your call to action. Grab those and use them. And watch what happens when you put together a content marketing plan that follows those steps, that you know what it is you're guiding people towards, that you know what type of content will attract the right people and get them there, and then they get it out there. So that's it. Go use this. Get some content out there that will get the right people in and get them converting to a next step with you.